Hello everyone. So from this video, we are going to start a new chapter and that is reproductive health. So let us start the chapter reproductive health. And so what we will study in the reproductive health, we will study about the definition of reproductive health. We will also study the problems and strategies what are there, right, for having a reproductive healthy society. Apart from this, we have to also learn about the contraceptive methods, that what are the contraceptive methods, right? What are the different contraceptive methods. Apart from this, we will also learn about some techniques such as amniocentesis and MTP, that is medical termination of the pregnancy. Also, we will learn about sexual transmitted disease or sexual transmitted infection, that what are the infections which can spread through sexual intercourse, right? As well as we will study about infertility, that what are the reasons for infertility, how infertility is there, right? Okay, reasons for infertility in men and women. Apart from this, at the last we will study about some methods which help a couple to have their own child, that is called as assisted reproductive technology, that is ART methods. So with that, let us start the chapter. And for the first thing we will study, that is a definition of reproductive health. So when we say that what is reproductive health, first of all we should know that what is reproductive health. So the concept of, according to WHO, right? So if I just go, wait, anyway, so according to WHO, what is reproductive health? So WHO defines reproductive health is a state of complete well-being, in all aspects of reproductive system, Now the first question that is formed here, that what, when we say all aspect, what do we mean by all aspects? So let us see. So when we talk about all the aspects, wait, yeah, it's working fine. So everyone, when we talk about all the aspects, what do we mean by all aspects when we say all aspect of the reproductive health? So all I mean from the all aspect is that I talk in term, all aspect include physical aspects. So physical aspect, mental aspect, like that means the person should be healthy from the mental state, his or her mental state should be okay, so mentally. Behaviorally, right, that means his or her behave should be good, right? What do we mean by these points, we'll understand. Apart from this, socially, apart from this, socially, and the last but not least, emotionally. So look at these terms. Now again, when we are saying that it is a state of complete well-being means on all aspects. Let us say, let's take an example. We know that sexual abuses are one of the major concern among the society, among us today. Suppose a child, right, no matter what the age of a child, maybe he or she is an adult, if he or she undergone a sexual assault, then definitely, right, look at the mental state of that person. Now say, suppose if it is the victim is a child, then definitely he or she is suffering from a definitely a bad mental state. That is a different thing, that the child is sharing the same with someone else or not. Usually they don't, right? So that is the mentally. Secondly, the behavior of the child, the behavior of that person, the behavior of the victim definitely is going to change. So these two aspects. When I say physical aspect, what do I mean by physical? So from the term physical, I mean he or she should be free from any kind of reproductive disorder. So should be free from any kind of so should be free from any kind of disorder, any kind of disorder. So that is the also one of the very important thing we should know. Now, what do we mean by social and emotional? Let's take another example. Say if you come to know that one of a person, among you, or say, in your school or in your society, if you come to know that he or she is suffering from AIDS. Now, we are a biology student. We are a biology student and we know that what is the pathophysiology of the AIDS, how AIDS can spread, how it cannot spread. So being a biology student, being an educated person, we know that we are not supposed to, shows a good distance from that person, or we are not supposed to that, we should not talk. These kind of things should not happen. But even anyhow you come to know that okay, that person is suffering from AIDS, so we have to keep a distance from him or her. So a kind of stigma is generated in the society. So that is what I'm trying to put in your mind. When we say reproductive health, then a society should be healthy in all the aspect: physical aspect, mental aspect. Mental means thinking process. Say when we are saying someone is suffering from AIDS, we should understand, or we are not supposed to judge the person. We know that AIDS can be transmitted through varieties of ways, right? So that is comes under the social. And if you just uh, try to assess the emotional state of that person who is suffering from AIDS, definitely it's not good. So emotionally, socially, behaviorally, mentally, physically, in all aspect, if someone is healthy, then we consider that person is healthy. That is according to the WHO stands for World Health Organization. So in this chapter, what we are supposed to study, as I told you, we will take some of the problems, that what are the problems in a reproductive healthy society, and then we'll study something on contraceptions. So let us start the discussion on problems and their strategies, right? What are the problems and what are the strategies what we have in a reproductive healthy society? So let's speak on that. So I'm actually unable to touch on that. So okay, let's write with that color. Okay, so let's say problems first of all. Now, when we say problems, then what are the problems first of all in a reproductive healthy society? I mean to say there are some problems which always exist. The first and the foremost problem, let me take another color. So the first and the foremost problem is the lack of awareness. Is the lack of awareness. Now, because there is a lack of awareness, so lack of awareness about contraceptive, lack of awareness about menstruation, lack of awareness about infertility, and there are many, many problems which are due to the lack of awareness, right? So we'll talk in strategies that how we can create awareness and how can we solve that problem. So we'll see exactly. Apart from the lack of awareness, what other problems are there? So apart from the lack of awareness, lack of education. Even today in some of the rural areas, everyone is not able to get the education, right? So lack of education, and more importantly sex education, because usually it is not teaches to the student or to the children's about the sex education, right? So lack of sex education, I should say, right? Apart from that lack of education or lack of awareness in the society about reproduction or about reproductive health or about sex related aspects, myths and misconceptions are there. So there are many, many myths and misconceptions which spread very easily as well. So apart from the lack of education and lack of awareness, there are many myths and misconceptions, right? So myths and misconceptions about menstruation, about infertility, about contraceptive methods. Some of the people, yes, trust me, it do happen with the people that they consider if they adopt contraceptive method, then they can go for infertility. I mean to say they become infertile or they become sterile, but it is nothing like that, right? We know that contraceptives are safe, they are safe method, but still there are myths and misconceptions. Let me take an example. We know that one of our problems is jaundice, right? We know that today we have the medical treatment for the jaundice, right? We know what is the reasons for the jaundice. But still, if you found some people, though, so they think that if there is a jaundice, usually instead of visiting to a doctor, or instead, in spite to visit a medical professional, they used to go to some kind of holy man, what we so called as, tantric kind of person, and they go over there and they ask them for the treatment. And usually what tantric do, so he or she will provide some, say chilies and lemons and kind of things, and so these are the problems even today. even in the era of internet, when we know the major of the things, many of the things, but still these things are happening. So these are the problems. Apart from the myth and misconception, of course, illegal abortion is one of the problems. So illegal abortion, make sure induced abortion is something else that comes under medical termination of the pregnancy, that we will study later. But what do I mean by illegal abortion? So many times there are illegal abortion. Yes, even authorities even did not know, sometimes they did not come to know that some such kind of crime are taking place. Suppose if something is happening in a particular village or in a rural area, so people of that particular area used to think if something like that happened, then they close such kind of matter over there only, right? Okay, so illegal abortion is one of the problem. And what is a problem which is there with the illegal abortion? Illegal abortion usually in rural areas, for any reason, say for some reason, some people want a male child, a boy child in the family, right? So if they anyhow come to know that a female is there, right, so they go for the abortion. And of course we know now that it is banned in India. So sometimes they go for illegal abortion, even they go for to that person which is not a medical professional. So illegal abortion lead to female feticide. And female feticide definitely lead to change in sex ratio. So it leads to change in sex ratio. That is also the concern problem we have today, right? So these are some of the problems. Apart from this, infertility is also a problem. So let me take another color. So infertility is also one of the among problem today. Now let me clear one thing. Infertility means if a couple is involved in an unprotected intercourse at least for up to a year, and still they are not able to have their own biological child, then this condition is called as infertility. I mean to say there are many even reasons. I mean to say people are not even infertile, but still if they do not have any child, there can be many of the reasons. One of the reason is that they don't know how to perform. Yes, people are not aware about their menstrual cycle. So we'll talk about the contraceptive method. So usually they are they try to attempt that intercourse in that period which is unfertile. So make sure, I'm saying unprotected intercourse at least for up to a year, and in spite of that they are not having the child, then that condition is called as infertility. Infertility doesn't mean suppose that they try once or twice and then they come to the doctor, doc, we are not able to have a child, then so that is not the case of infertility. That is something important. And apart from the infertility, again what is a major problem we have to address is sexual transmitted disease. So seventh problem is there, that is called sexual transmitted disease. So we should know that how sexual transmitted disease they spread, how we can prevent, although prevention is always better than cure. So during the contraceptive, when we speak on the contraceptive, we'll let you know that condoms are one of the best method which avoid pregnancy as well as sexual transmitted disease, right? So sexual transmitted disease. These are some of the problems. There are many problems again, but we are just considering some of the problems. So these are some of the problem. Okay, and apart from this, the major problem we have to concern about that is overpopulation, that is population exploitation. So that is overpopulation. So overpopulation is anyways a very big problem, and it's a concernable problem, right? So I'm sure you are aware that the last census that had occurred, that was in 2011, that was a 15th census, and according to that Indian population was 1.2 billion. Although the census was supposed to happen in 2021, but they were delayed because of COVID, but of course if we say observe the current population of India, so our rough population is 1.39 billion right now in 2022. Yes, I am in a June of 2022, right? So let's say now the census will be conducted. So let's say what is the exact population, so we'll come to know. So anyway, we'll talk about that things as well. So these are some of the problems, right? So make sure overpopulation is a problem also, but infertility is also a problem. So in a reproductive healthy society, a couple has to be like that overpopulation, or like in a reproductive healthy society, overpopulation should not be there, but at least a couple should have their own child, right? So that is why we'll talk about ART as well. So these are some of the problems. Let us now talk about some of the strategies we can go for to solve these problems. So let us start to discuss on strategies. Strategies. So we will see now that what are the strategies which we can go for, to solve these problems. So let us now talk on the strategies. Okay, so we said that one of the major problem in a reproductive healthy society is lack of awareness. So we can create awareness. We can create awareness. Now the question is that about what we can create awareness. So we can create awareness about multiple things, right? So that is the thing, that we can create awareness about multiple things. So first of all, we can create awareness about contraceptive methods, about uses of contraceptive methods. Say we can create awareness among the people that using contraception doesn't make them infertile or doesn't make them sterile. So that is a good thing, right? That is one of the way to control the population. We know that uh, you know sexual drive is the need for couples, so they go for intercourse definitely, right? We can't ask them that do not go for sexual intercourse, but even every time every couple don't want even child, but because they are not using contraceptive, so sometime it happens, and later they of course for any reason they want, okay, that's fine if we have a child, so it is just because of the god wants us to have a child, so they go for that, right? So many of the things that takes place anyway. So we can create awareness about the uses of contraceptive methods. Second, we can create awareness about sexual transmitted disease, that how the sexual transmitted diseases are spread and how can we control them, because a large population today in India as well is is suffering from STDs, so sexual transmitted disease as well. So this is also we can create awareness. We can also create awareness about menstruation. We can also create awareness about menstruation. So there is nothing bad in the menstruation. You know, there is nothing bad in menstruation. The only thing is that we need to understand that it is one of the biological cycle. But still, some of the people consider that menstruation is a bad thing, and in that time, women are not allowed to touch some, even they are not allowed to go some holy places, and they are not allowed to go in the kitchen. All I'm trying to say that okay, extra hygienic should be there. I mean to say she need to be hygienic during menstruation, but it doesn't mean that we are supposed to quarantine herself, quarantine her in a particular room. No, it is not supposed to be, right? It's just a biological cycle. We need to create awareness again about the menstruation among peoples, right? Apart from this, we can create awareness about method of assisted reproductive technology. Assisted reproductive technology, right? We can create awareness that about assisted reproductive technology, and these are the methods which helps a couple to have their own biological child. So that is one of the things what we can do. Apart from this, we can create awareness about let's say second thing what we can do, we can educate the people. We can educate people. Now, when it comes to education, definitely suppose the one who are working or who are adult grown, we can't ask them to go to the school. But sex education must be needed for everyone. So for that, what we can do, uh, government help us. So government and if non-government organization, they can organized, some special seminars. So they can organize some special seminars, right? And of course they can create awareness about sex education, and that's how they can promote the sex education, right? We can educate the people, and we have to give the sex education. Sex education should be provided in the schools as well. We know that every system of the body teaches us very well, but when it comes to the sex education, when it comes to the reproductive system, sometimes the things remain kept hide from us. That is not a good thing. So sex education should be provided in school, should be provided in schools, right? That is a part, good thing. We can take the help of audio, video, audio, visual and print media. They can help in this. They can help, so they can become helpful. How they can become helpful? Suppose in some rural area, in cities, we can have a poster saying like we too are to. In Hindi there is a slogan called as hum do hamare do, ya fir do bacche hi acche, kind of things. We can put the posters, we can create seminars, we can shows the videos, we can show some videos regarding that, a nuclear family is a good family. We can create a poster that a small family is a good family, right? And we can create awareness about, again I'm writing here, about ill effect of large population. Large population, of course the growing population uh, would not affect us in a day or two, of course, but in future it definitely affect us. So definitely there's a population that overgrow, resources become limited, things become limited, become limited, food become limited, shelter become limited. So in 1 or 2 days, of course it is not going to affect us, but over a period of time definitely we would affected by the same. So that is how we can create the things. So these are some of the problems and strategies we have studied, right, in the chapter of reproductive health. So we should know first of all the definition, that it is a state of complete well-being in all aspects of reproductive system. And when we speak on all aspects, I mean to say physical, mental, behavioral, social and emotional. So with that, that is the first lecture. So let us now continue the same, and in the next lecture we will speak on contraceptive methods. Thank you everyone.